Greetings, sirs and madams again. The third cycle is usually a curse. That's my prophecy. The prophecy of the third cycle curse in crypto. I am shocked. A friend of mine sent me this tweet from GCR. GCR has like one or two or $300 million. He's one of the best forecasters in all of crypto. And, okay, before you read his tweet, you're going to listen to the OG. The OG, peanut brain, me. I have this prophecy, and now there's actually a study that was done on it, which is crazy, from over 20 years ago. So, my prophecy is the third cycle sucks ass. Crap. It happened in Bitcoin. So, if we want to go quickly, man, I noticed this, right? Anything that's had, so we started from here. You had a 2012 Bitcoin halving, 2016 and 2020, all right? Here we go, 2020, all right? So the first cycle was absolutely glorious. Bang, all right? It was absolutely glorious. Beautiful, 139x, okay? Your second cycle, it's juicy. It's not glorious, right? So it's not a giant star, but it's still juicy, okay? It's still juicy. This was juicy, okay? From the halvening here, you get 38x. That's pretty amazing, man. That's pretty amazing. So a glorious achievement and then some juice. And the third one is a letdown. The third cycle. Oh, this hurts me. I don't even want to do this measurement. Okay, 6x. Okay. What a letdown. So I noticed this, and why I noticed this personally is because I came into crypto here, and what happened was the plus token Ponzi happened, and Bitcoin recovered super fast and strong. And what I was doing was, remember, I'm learning off the past here, so I'm trying to guess what it does with everything else. So I thought Bitcoin was going to do this. You know what, it did this in that 2015 bear market. So I thought Bitcoin was going to do this pattern. I thought up here, it was going to go wee. That's what I thought it was going to do and then break out by the end of the year. But it didn't do that. It went, see you later, we're going to the moon, baby. And then we're going to pay for our sins. That's what it did. So that strength caught my attention. I was like, man, the market is confirming me a signal that, you know, my initial thesis that Bitcoin's going to hit $180,000 is going to come true. So that was me reading the market language, you know, and this is just life. This is what happens. So I thought Bitcoin's going to hit 180K. I still think it will, right? But I thought it was going to hit in the next cycle. And it was confirmed a very strong move in the recovery. And then it let us down big time. Psyop, scamming, Puppet Master, God, Cosmos, it doesn't matter. It let us down. Big time let us down. So I learned from this. Other coins have also gone trash in their third cycle. Litecoin, trash, okay? Now, if we want to quickly look at Ethereum, right? So you now know, right? ETH is now going to be in its third cycle now. So its first cycle was absolutely glorious. Big star, right? Big star, okay? Big star. And this one, he was 2012. Ethereum, another 20x. Big, juicy, right? So we're going to give it a medium star. So I know I love Ethereum, friends. I love it more than you do, okay? I love it so much that I went all in on the ETH BTC bottom, okay? And everyone called me an empty head peanut brain. The ETH BTC bottom in 2019 December, I researched Ethereum for literally 4 hours. I think I started at like 6 o'clock at night. By 10 o'clock that same night, I'm like, oh wow, we're going to flip Bitcoin and this thing is going to absolutely crush it. That's how convicted on Ethereum I am. So when I tell you what I'm about to tell you, don't shoot the messenger, okay? Ethereum is going into its third cycle. It would be funny if it repeats what Bitcoin did, where it fools us into thinking it's going to be a strong cycle and it recovers fast, but then it earns itself an unfortunate poopie emoji in the next cycle, right? Now, I'm only going to give it one poopie emoji. I shouldn't give it two because it's done great, man. It's done great. You know, it's done great. And we know this from, okay? It's done well. Ethereum has provided so much value to crypto. Like, it is holding us up, in this bear market. The bear market that happened, it was like, it held us up. We were like, oh my God, thank the Lord. This thing still works. Didn't go down. Wow. All right, so it's going to get a poopy emoji. But here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to get a poopy emoji at $9,000 or like $17,000. All right, so that's what I don't know. So I don't know. Look, just to protect me and you, when we see this third cycle prophecy, maybe Ethereum, I'm just saying, maybe it stops at $8,000 or $9,000 because everybody wants to believe in the 10K round number meme, right? Or maybe it goes to like, 14, 15, 16 and everyone thinks 20 is next. We're going to have to decide what risk we want to take up there, risk of holding. I don't think it's wise to start assuming it's going to keep going up. It's going to be very hard to say. Do you know how hard it was to say Bitcoin's not hitting 100K, man? That's why it was so rare. It's very rare. You might not believe me, right? So we have a post here from GCR. So the third cycle prophecy. So this is what I learned. I was like, man, there's something about this third cycle that's a curse. Third cycle curse. Ethereum's going, Bitcoin had 3, poopy land. Ethereum's had 2, they were great, now going to poopy. Let's read this quote from GCR, right? GCR, one of the best forecasters in crypto, right? The major authority within the sphere is Vernon Smith, joint winner for Nobel Prize of Economics. His work has shown that inexperienced traders take time to learn the errors of their ways, helping to explain the echo bubble pattern above observed. In Something 2000, Smith writes, once a group experiences a trading bubble and a crash over 2 experiments and then returns for a third experiment, trading departs little from fundamental value. So they basically say, after 2 reiterations, the third cycle is a curse because people don't get exuberant anymore. They learned. That is to say, having created a bubble and a crash in the first experiment, they managed to do so again in the second time they played. It was only on the third attempt that participants finally realized the errors of their ways and moved the market closer to a rational pricing structure. In fact, study after study of experimental markets has shown that the only reliable way of eliminating bubbles is via experience. So the more cycles you have, the less of the exuberance, right? So the third cycle curse prophecy. I'm shocked when I read this because, I'm just a peanut brain, but now someone's written words that say, hey, you're a little peanut brain, but maybe there's some truth to your little peanut. So, okay. Effectively, what this means is, let's go through the deep value, okay? This is how we protect ourselves. Me and you want to win. I want to win. I want to win more than anyone else, okay? So we have to keep that in mind when Bitcoin is up at like 140K, okay? They're up at 140K, right? We have to remember, so maybe it's going to be like, 2025, whatever. Maybe we do get up here. We go to 0, come back up. All right, maybe we're up here, all right? So we have to think about the narratives here, the euphoria narrative, okay? So I'm already prepared for them. So when we hit 100K Bitcoin, right, if we do, right, when we hit 100K Bitcoin, people will say, see, the government keeps printing money and we need Bitcoin to save us and we need decentralization at all costs and this thing is better than gold and better than this and better than that. They're going to say that. And those are the narratives to trap everyone at the top because everyone believes each other, right? So we have to remember in these, as what's happening is people are starting to be more rational, okay? They're starting to realize, hey, like this is me speaking now. So people are starting to realize that, yes, there's US dollars, they get printed, okay? And yes, they do a loop around the world. They do. And they go into different liquidity buckets, okay? They do. However, what's going to happen is you have Bitcoin here. You have to remember, even if you love Bitcoin, that there are other liquidity buckets, man. There are other liquidity buckets out there. There are other altcoins. There are other crypto. you have more competition now. So yes, you're going to get some of your liquidity bucket, but you might not get as much of the like irrational liquidity as you want, as you had hoped. And this is what happens because markets are learning. We're like, people will start to see, okay, yeah, they print money. Okay, how's Bitcoin related to that? Okay, it's a protection from the world police. Yes, they print money and the currency goes around, and yes, you can get a stable currency system. But think about it, friends. How many countries out there actually really need it? You don't need like trillions and trillions of world market cap in Bitcoin necessarily. You know, if the US government maintains the psyops of inflation and controls the people, and it trickles down to the UK, Japan, Australia, Canada, we don't really need all that money in Bitcoin. Bitcoin does its job at 1 or 2 trillion market cap. You know why? Because it's a police check. It's a security guard. You know, so actually it's, yeah, so that's a perfect analogy, right? So if you commit a crime, it doesn't need to come and bash you. It just needs to stand there. It's just a police car driving. It's like, hey, you better not commit a crime or I'll like, you know, I'll cuff you up. You know, but it doesn't need to go seek the violence. It just stays there. So if Bitcoin's staying there, it's a message to the government saying, hey, you shouldn't be printing an excess amount of currency. Because if you do, we will keep capturing it. And guess what? The government might find other ways to go about their printing and not do it excessive. So Bitcoin's bucket, it doesn't capture as much as you think. So look, the good thing is that we're early and no one's realized this yet. I'm realizing this now, right? I'm literally 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ahead of the game. That's why we're listing. That's why we're going through this now, okay? But one day in the future, it's going to slow down and people are going to think, you know, yeah, Bitcoin does its job, but, you know, other money can flow other places. And if the government excessively prints, then Bitcoin goes up. But if it doesn't like really excessively print, money can flow to Ethereum, applications, other layer ones, Chainlink derived entrepreneurial endeavors, all this other stuff, right? So that's something to think about, right? So the third cycle's a curse, you know. This is now in its fourth. I don't know what happens in the fourth. It's probably going to be rational again. Maybe Bitcoin only hits like 100K, 80 to 100K. Ethereum, third cycle. Chainlink in its second. Uni, second. Aave, it's now in its third. It actually launched in 2017, very end, okay? Hex, number 2. This is where the juice comes. PulseX, 1. PulseChain, 1. Pleb, 1. This is what we want to see, okay? This is what we want to see. I know this hurts me to say. I don't want to put a poopy emoji next to Ethereum because, see, I'm wrestling the idea with you. Like, damn, man, this thing is so good. Do I really have to say that the party in it is going to slow down and stop? And the answer is yes. We are unbiased. We are just messengers, man. We're here to win, okay? We can't fall in love with anything. This is the facts. This is the facts. Chainlink's in cycle number 2, Uni number 2, Hex number 2. These are going to get some juicy pumps. And what's going to get the ultimate pumps? So the one cyclers. Okay? Because we got in on the floor. We're in on the floor now. That's the best part. Okay? So, something to think about. GCR's comment. Remember, the participants learn. The market learns. That's why edge decays over time. Okay? There are people playing old narratives now. And they're going to get wrecked. So remember this, man. There is now people saying, hey, we've learned that after 2 irrational exuberances, people start to price things very fairly. They get more grounded. And I'll just give you a perfect explanation for Bitcoin. So yes, Bitcoin is needed in the world. It's a beautiful miracle. However, if the government slow down their printing and they think about different ways to do the psyops, Bitcoin does not need to go to $1 million anymore because it did its job. That's what the Bitcoin maxis won't tell you, friends. This is the harsh reality, you know. Bitcoin goes to $1 million if world government keep excessively printing. But because it is the beacon to tell them that, hey, you can't print that much, you got to do more psyops, more scamming, more controlling, more manipulation behind the scenes, well, guess what? Governments are going to do that, okay? But this narrative, it's going to be very hard to push at the top. But the good thing is, we already know not to get trapped. Until next time, friends, I love you all.